How's everybody doing today? I guess I want to start off by just saying thank you and everything that's coming out. That's with everything that's going on right now. You got elections, you got like sickness and all that kind of stuff that's happening. I just want to be able to thank everybody for taking the time to be able to come out and support. If you don't know, this is actually for the Heal the Hood Foundation and for the Hero Empowerment Center that we're actually trying to build. So what that is going to be is this big center. It's going to have movies access in there. It's going to have a gym in there. It's going to have a comic book production studio in there. It's going to have a sound stage in there. It's going to have a lot of stuff in there that's going to empower this community, and it's actually going to be in the community. So that's a huge thing, right? That's something that's going to actually be able to build up the community in there. So that's what this is all for. We're trying to raise funds for that, and we're doing really well right now being able to do that. So you guys, if you don't know who I am, 9 to 19, you know. My name is Martheus Wade. I do comic books here in the city of Memphis. I was raised here, born here. My family still lives here, and we travel. We do a lot of traveling from conventions to conventions, doing comic books and stuff like that. And we also do other comic books for different companies. So I've done comic books for. I've done some stuff for Ghostbusters. I've done some stuff for Action Man. I've done some stuff for Paramount Pictures. I've done some stuff for Universal Pictures. So done quite a bit of comic book illustration around. And we also have just recently launched a comic book. Well, I'll say recently, but it was like in 2009. It's a comic book called Shinobi Ninja Princess, which is about a girl who is 14 years old, but she just so happens to be a ninja princess, and she has a clan. She's with a clan called the Toshigawa Ninja Clan. That's where we get Toshigawa Ninja first from all our stuff. So we did that, and we're doing pretty well with it. We've been in schools and things like that, and libraries and comic book stores around the U.S. and actually around the world now. That's actually pretty cool. So, and it's all based here in the 901. So, a little bit about my background. I was just like everybody else here, lived in Memphis. I actually grew up in South Memphis, and I grew up with my grandmother, my mom, and my grandmother wouldn't let me go outside of the fence, so I had a fence that I had to stay in, and it was just me. I don't have brothers and sisters, so it was just me inside a fence, just kind of playing around the house. All the other kids used to be outside. Hey man, can we come in? But they were like, my grandmother kind of kept me away from the element because she knew what was out there. People were getting killed on the outside of that fence every day. So some of the kids used to be able to come in some of the time, but most of them couldn't come in. So I was by myself a lot. So what I ended up doing was, instead of being angry about all that and stuff like that, I created my own world. I drew my own pictures and stuff like that, and I became interested in comic books. I became interested in reading and literature and things like that. And that became my outside world, So the cool thing about that was that I would be able to inform other kids. Other kids would come in, and I'll be able to talk to them about my situation, about my stories and stuff like that. And then they got interested in it, so I'll be drawing and stuff for them and stuff. So, and at the time I would draw a picture of Batman and somebody would give me a quarter. And I was like, oh snap, I can make money. So at 5 years old, 6 years old, I'm drawing pictures of characters, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, and stuff like that, things that I've trained myself to do, and I would get money for it. And that showed me really, really early on that there was a need for what I did, and that I could be able to do it. So I caught the bug really, really early on. And then fast forward to when I get to junior high, I started working on my own characters and stuff. And a lot of my friends and stuff like that were into Sports. I was more so into martial arts. I still am. My base discipline was Taekwondo. I went from Taekwondo to Shotokan Karate. Went from Shotokan Karate to Muay Thai kickboxing, to kickboxing to grappling. So it's kind of like progressed on and on and on. And I naturally brought all of that stuff that I was interested in into my comic books. And that's how I ended up coming up with the characters for Toshikawa Universe. I was very heavily into, at the time, real early on, I was into the history of how people and warriors kind of like evolve and how they cross-pollinate and how martial arts kind of cross-pollinate and kind of evolve from place to place to place. So that got me involved into like the Japanese aspect of martial arts, which you know goes back to the Chinese variations in martial arts as well. That comes from that the Chinese version of martial arts feeds back into the Japanese version of martial arts, and then how that goes into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and capoeira and things like that. So I was like really into that type of stuff, and I pulled all that into my comic book. And you know, luckily, just like when I was little, fast forward a little bit forward, the people that I actually associate with now gravitated towards me because of that interest. So my wife now, she actually was born in Okinawa. She's going to get Girl Scout cookies, so she ain't doing that right now. She went to go get some. She went to go get them for me, so I'm not mad. But at the same time, she ain't there. But anyway, so my wife at the time, my wife now, anyway, she, I know, right? Don't tell I said that either. It's kind of messed up. Don't film that. Edit it out. Like, edit it out. My wife, I met her. She was born in Okinawa, and she came to America. So I met her through that common interest. My best friend, I met him in art class, the one that's going to take care of me and delete what I just said. So I met him in my art class. So we all kind of got together and we were like, hey, let's start our own comic book company. And we started publishing comic books. We started doing puppet shows and stuff together. We started doing like little shorts, little acting things together and stuff like that. It all just came together. And what we realized was that we all came from almost, except for my wife, we all came from the same kind of background almost, you know what I mean? It was like we came from Memphis, we wanted to do something different. Nothing that we wanted to do was actually popping off here, so we just did it ourselves, you know? Now we're in a position with pop culture, with media, with social media, and things like that. We have even more avenues to be able to do our comic books, be able to do our art forms, no matter what it is. So what we want to do, and the reason why this summit is a thing, is because we want to be able to bring that enlightenment, that idea that you can be able to do this type of stuff back to the community and throw it out there. It's not as hard as it was when I was little trying to do this stuff. It's a little bit more, you got a community out there, you just got to be able to reach out and just do it and put some elbow grease to it. So that's pretty much my story. It's pretty much my story. So what I would like to do is I would like to be able to open it up to questions. At first, what I was going to do is I was going to do a drawing session, but it's a little what I have. It's not going to be conducive to me drawing right now. But if I know there's some artists that are out in the audience. There's some people that write that are out in the audience. Even if you have comic book or entertainment interests like that, if you have any questions or anything like that, this is the time to be able to send them my way. So, anybody have any questions, anything they want to start off with?
When you first started working in cartoon art, what were the tools that you had at your disposal, and what did you find yourself graduating to the next level of material and tools?
When I first started, I had, like everybody else, had magic markers and ballpoint pens. So with, you know, after a while, what you end up finding out is that, you know, especially when you start to get deeper and deeper into working and things like that and doing stuff, you find out that that's not the best products to be able to use because of bleeding and because of like you know, the line weights are all the same with ballpoint pens and things like that, so it's kind of hard to be able to get variations in like thicknesses of lines and stuff and values and stuff. It's almost like a natural transition. What you end up doing is you start out there. Every young person starts out there. And then what they'll do is they'll figure out that I can only go so far with these things, and then they'll end up naturally seeking out the next thing. The next thing I got after that were micron pens. And they weren't super expensive. You could find them at the time at like stores like Target used to carry them. I don't think they carry them anymore. But micron pens are like just different size pens. It's like if you take a ballpoint pen or one of those felt tip pens or whatnot, and you have different sizes. And they have the sizes on it. You have like a 001, a 05, a 08. And then you use those to be able to draw with. And you'll see what happened with me was that there was a big bump from one point to another point, you know. And then after that, what I did was I went from there, I went to Copic markers. I went to a demonstration with one of my, with this real big artist guy that I was like, oh man, this is the best artist in the world. And he was using Copic pens and Copic markers at the time. And I was like, oh snap, I gotta get some of those because what he did, that's what I wanted to do. His values and line values and things like that is what I wanted to achieve. So I went and got like a box of Copic markers, and that box cost me almost $200. And then I realized why I didn't have them. So, but that investment did come back because I invested in those $200, and I was able to get, for me at the time, I was able to get more work because my artwork it just propelled. It took it to a whole nother level at that point. So it's a natural progression. You progress as long as you're keeping a interest and you're progressing at a steady level. Then you'll be able to find yourself going to that next rung as you get up there as far as like equipment is concerned. Now I do Copic markers, but I'm also working digitally, so I'm drawing in an iPad and running on the Cintiq straight into the computer, and I'm doing everything like that, you know, because it's just, the reason why I'm doing that is because it's quicker, not because it's better, it's just quicker. It's quicker for me to be able to draw something and email it straight to whoever it needs to go to, as opposed to drawing it on paper, scanning it, cleaning it up, colorizing it, and then sending it. That's a whole other process, so it's just quicker for me to be able to turn it around. Yep.